buying ban until I can get 100 books off my physical TBR. Thus far, I've read 63, so this will be number 64. And I'm kind of hoping that it's not a book that I have more than one book of, because then I just feel compelled to read what I have. But this is a fantasy romance, and it is Heavenly Bodies. I've heard some people love it, I've heard some people hate it, but I'm excited to give her a try, so I will let you know what I think in a second. I finished the book, and I gave this 1 star. Before I go into it, we are going to appreciate the Fairy Loot edition, because say what you want about the book, and I will, but Fairy Loot did snap. They have a completely redesigned cover, which is beautiful. These are the sprayed edges. There is a reversible dust jacket, it's just the original cover in a different colorway. The naked hardcover is also stunning. Beautiful. This is end paper number 1 and end paper number 2. Let's talk about the book now. Unfortunately, there was nothing I liked about it. So if this is your fave, and I understand that it's a lot of people's fave, you might not want to listen to me talk. Firstly, you begin the book and it feels like you are thrust in the middle of the plot with no context. The book literally starts with our FMC being kidnapped by a rival kingdom. Her parents just died. She meets the king. The king is like, "Hi, I am the king of this rival kingdom. You're gonna kill a star," which is like a god. And you're like, whoa, what happened to hello? How are you? Jesus. The world building throughout is very choppy. There's so much about this magic system and stuff that makes no sense. The rules make no sense. The whole thing is just very odd. It kind of feels like it could be lightly based off of Greek mythology, but also not. The other thing about this is the writing. I could not stand the writing. I really couldn't pinpoint it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were cringy phrases, but like, I couldn't exactly pinpoint what it is about this writing style that I could not mesh with at all. But I literally had to reread stuff like 8 times because I could not absorb a single thing. There's one line in here that says, "You look like the light made love to you." I didn't care about the characters, they felt flat. Our FMC is supposed to be really powerful, but basically she's just snarky, you know? It's supposed to be a slow burn, but just because they don't bone until later doesn't mean it's a slow burn. They were attracted to each other instantly, it was pretty obvious. The pacing was really weird, all over the place. The chain of events that happen here, the decisions that she makes is just so odd. The story heavily relies on tropes to do the telling. It felt like a weird hodgepodge of a bunch of elements that people love in a fantasy romance put together. The ending, the ending was so... I finished this because I wanted to say that I finished it, and because so many people loved it and I was waiting to love it, and unfortunately nothing about this worked for me. So that's a big no in my corner, unfortunately.
Emily Lockhart, ladies and gentlemen. Get you a girl who can do both.
Photo assist and write novels.
I love
I'm multi-talented.
We used to be best buddies, and now we're not. I wish you would tell me why.
God, I wish that you had thought this through before I went and fell in love with you.
Goodreads just announced the most read romantasy books of the 2024 Reading Challenge. Put a finger down for every single one that you've read. Number 1 is Fourth Wing. Number 2 is Iron Flame. 3rd is House of Flame and Shadow. 4th is A Court of Silver Flames. 5th, we have Crescent City. 6th is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. 7th is Assistant to the Villain. 8th is From Blood and Ash. Number 9 is Manacled. And lastly, number 10 is Gold. I can't believe I only read 3 out of 10 of these books.
I don't want to burn again.
I don't think anyone ever really saw me. No one ever will.
You start to save up to buy you a ring. Happily ever after.
No book over 600 pages should be allowed to be a hardcover because that's no longer a book, that's a weapon. Have you ever been lying down reading a 600 plus page hardcover and then dropped it on your face? Honestly, at this point, I'm lucky I'm not scarred for life.
That
that I respectfully will not be reading any more books from in the future. Alex Michaelides. I really liked The Silent Patient when that came out, but I've read his 2 new books since then and I really disliked both of them. So I think he was maybe just a one-hit wonder for me. Tessa Bailey. I read one of her books, didn't love it, thought it was okay. And I've tried to read like 3 of her books since then and I've DNF'd every single one of them. I think her books are just very lust driven and very physical, and that's just not really what I prefer in my romances. Rebecca Surly? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. But I've read 2 of her books and I disliked both of them. I think her writing is good, just not for me. She tends to use tropes and story aspects that I just don't like. Meryl Winsner, I really want to like her because she writes sapphic romances, but I tried to read one of her books a couple years ago, DNF'd it, wasn't into it, and then I read her new release that came out this year and just really didn't like it. I just don't see myself picking up another book by her. Finally, this one I could take back. It's Frida McFadden. I've read, I think, 2 or 3 Frida McFadden books, and I thought they were okay, but not amazing, and I think I'm just kind of over that phase. If she came out with something that I thought was really interesting, I would maybe pick it up, but I'm not dying to go back to her.
I try to write it down, but I can never find an end. I give anything.
So I just texted my sister. I'm like, I just started We Were Liars. Thanks for telling me to watch. I'll let you know my thoughts. She's like, I told you to watch Don't Tell Me Lies. So now I'm halfway through We Were Liars. It's the wrong show. Why is everybody putting liars in the title? I'm confused. Do I keep watching this? Can someone let me know? Is this even good? It's cheesy right now, but like, do I continue or do I switch? Please help.
So I just realized that in We Were Liars, when the mothers do like the pie contest, 2 of the pies get burned and 1 gets splashed with water. Fucking talk to me. What the fuck?
And it feels like an eternity since I had you here with me, since I had to learn to be someone you don't know. To be with you in paradise, what I wouldn't sacrifice. Why'd you have to chase the light somewhere I can't go? As I walk this world alone.
Don't forget me, like the tunnel under Ocean Boulevard. Don't forget me, like the tunnel under Ocean Boulevard. Don't forget me.
If you could see me now, you'd be proud. Though you think days you've been, your funeral was beautiful. I think I heard you coming. The kids are in town for a funeral.
Hello, my beautiful besties. I am so excited to chat about my June wrap up today with you. It's been so long. So sit down, buckle up. We are getting into my 6 books I read in June. Okay, if you saw, I started June with my Powerless journey. I read all 3 books in the trilogy and the novella, and I loved these books. I can't stop raving about them. I made like 27 TikToks about them because I am obsessed with Peyton and Kai. So I started out with Powerless, which was my favorite of the 4 total books. I rated it 5 stars. It was such a good start into the trilogy. We have our FMC Peyton and our MMC Kai. I'm in love with them. So Peyton ends up finding herself in a series of trials in the kingdom, and Kai ends up helping her. And the trials and everything, the enemies to lovers, the banter, the yearning, the angst. Then I went ahead and read Powerful, which is the novella right after Powerless. This book destroyed me in so few pages. Look how so little this book is. It was heartbreaking. This book follows Adina, which is Peyton's best friend, and we already know the ending of the story based on the ending of the book Powerless. So it made it that much worse having to read through her story and get attached to her when you already know the ending of it. Oh my goodness. It was such a wonderful novella. I sped through it like that. And I read Reckless, which was my least favorite book in the trilogy. It was a lot of chasing Peyton had escaped. Kai had been chasing her throughout other parts of the kingdom, of the territory, into other lands. It just didn't grip me as much. Still rated at 4 stars. I still loved Peyton and Kai, but it just wasn't my most favorite out of the series. I read Fearless. I loved Fearless. They got back to the castle. There was a huge twist at the end of Reckless. I'm not going to talk about it because some people haven't read it. No spoilers here. But it was so good. I loved how they navigated that whole thing. And I loved the happy ending of the characters. I am so excited that Lauren Roberts is giving us a novella based on Kit's perspective in Fearful, coming out this fall. So that is now one of my most anticipated releases. Based on recommendations from my sister-in-law, I listened to Lights Out, and I dipped my toe over in dark romance for the first time. Dark romance? It's dark romance, right? I giggled and kicked my feet during this audio so many times. Josh and Allie's story made me laugh. It was hilarious. Check your trigger warnings before you listen and or read this book. Absolutely. Please do that. But it was lighthearted on very dark subjects. The whole connection that they had was so good. I'm very glad that I listened to it on audio because that's the way that I've heard it recommended, and that's what I recommend as well. For some reason, then I just needed like a quick standalone book for fantasy romance. I ended up reading Amid Clouds and Bones, which is a standalone fantasy romance. It is about fae. I rated this book 3 stars, and that is mostly due to I wasn't connecting and I wasn't very interested in the FMC at all. Mildred, she is a half human, half fae who is betrothed to the Fae Prince, the Seelie Fae Prince of the kingdom. And I will say that the spice was quite good. I've seen it being rated like a 3.5 out of 5 chili peppers, and I would have to agree with that. It was quite a spicy standalone.
Hi, hello, and welcome to my June wrap-up. June was a good month. I feel like I finally hit my stride again. I was struggling for a little bit. I read 9 books in the month of June, 1 with my eyeballs, 8 on audio, and I had some really good ones that I loved. All of the ones I read this month were either advanced listeners copies, advanced readers copies, or books I got free from publishers. So thank you so much to all of the amazing publishers and companies that send me books. I am so appreciative of you, and I love reading and reviewing the books that you send to me. Let's get into it. I'm gonna start from my lowest rating to my highest rating, and my lowest rated book this month was No Ordinary Love by Maya Ariel. I enjoyed this one. Even though it is my lowest rating, I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought this was a good book. This is pop star baseball player, and they meet and they have this whirlwind romance that's really quick, very fast relationship builds. I just felt like there was a lot of telling rather than showing how they got from strangers to lovers. And other than that, I did really enjoy it. The audiobook was really good. Thank you so much to Booksparks for this book. Then I read If This Was a Movie by Morgan Elizabeth. This is a Christmas book, and if you're looking to do some Christmas in July reading, I don't think you'll be disappointed with this one. It has all of the fun Christmas miracle magic that you could want. There's a little girl who wants her doll to come to life, and she runs outside. She sees her doll come to life, and lo and behold, it was this woman that her dad had a one-night stand with a really long time ago, and he feels like it's his long-lost love who just didn't work out. I just really liked it. It was fun. The audiobook was really well done. I love a single dad no matter what. I gave it 3.75 stars, and Morgan Elizabeth is slowly becoming an author that I feel like her writing just pulls me in. It's addicting, and I really love it every single time that I read something she writes. The next one I read is Hugo by Jennifer Milliken. I love Jennifer Milliken and anything that she writes. Hugo is book 2 in the Olive Township series, and it continues to follow this small town that apparently resembles the Princess Bride movie, but I've never seen that. And, you know, it's just so fun. I love that she's pregnant and it's not his trope, and this one was just done so well. I thought this was really fun. I gave it 4.25 stars. I will read anything that Jennifer Milliken writes. Next, I finished up the Court series by Brandy Hines, and it has become my new obsession. Let's just say that.
I am obsessed with this found family. The books are Tracing Scars and Charring Bones, and you do have to read the series in order, starting with Burning Ivy, but you will not be disappointed. The found family in this is so good. It has darker elements. It has a secret society that like has some mafia themes to it, and it is just so good. I gave Tracing Scars 4.5 stars and Charring Bones 4.25 stars. Obsessed with them, and the audiobooks, amazing. I listened to the audiobook of It's a Love Story by Annabelle Monaghan. I read Nora Goes Off script last year and loved it, so I was really looking forward to this one. I thought this was really fun, has a small town vibe, has this enemies to lovers. They've known each other in the past but don't like each other, but he comes from this amazing family that she just falls in love with and then falls in love with him. It's so good. The way that Annabelle Monaghan writes is so easy to read. It's single POV, which I feel like sometimes is hard in a romance book, and I very, very much loved this one. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I will read anything Annabelle Monaghan writes. I listened to Everything's Coming Up Rosie. I got this on NetGalley, and y'all, I had to buy it immediately. Courtney Walsh is so funny. I have never read a Courtney Walsh book, and I cannot believe it. I will be reading like everything she has written because I loved this. It was so fun. It had every bit of Broadway vibes that you can think of. If you like Broadway and you like books, this is what you need to read. I gave it 4.5 stars. I was obsessed with the man in this. Adorable. A favorite for sure of this month. Then I read First Verse by L.M. Holleran, and y'all, if you love an angsty rock star romance that does not end in a happy ending but is a duet, so we will be getting part 2, you should read this. The amount of emotion that I felt reading this book, I had it all. It was raw, it was gritty, it was emotional, it broke my heart, it was spicy. I want everyone to read it. I feel like L.M. Holleran deserves more hype than she gets because I read Time for Us last year. 5 stars, amazing. I gave this one 4.75 stars. Fantastic. And I finished up the month reading my friend Jenny's book, Just Business. This cover is beautiful. This is a famous country star, comes to a small town in Alabama, meets this producer, and they fall in love at her recording studio. I was here for it. I loved the small town vibes. I loved all the fun little things that they did in this small town. I loved the music. There is a song that goes with this book. Y'all, do yourself a favor and pick up Jenny's book. It is so, so good. There's another cover that has like sunflowers on it that is just beautiful, but I love this one. I gave it 5 stars, and it is one I think everyone should read. These are all the books that I read in the month of June. I hope you had a good month too. Let me know what you read in the month of June, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.
Name a book that deserves more hype on BookTok.
You know I love you. And I'm never gonna feel the same way for anyone else.
I know.
Sometimes all you need is a fantasy book that has the perfect amount of romance, perfect amount of plot, perfect amount of action that you can just devour in 24 hours or less. These are my recommendations for you. Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I recently read this, and where has this book been all my life? You're following Princess Leia, and she has run away from her duties as a princess because she's about to get forced into a marriage to a man she'd never met, so she runs away to a distant village, working there, but without knowing, 2 handsome strangers arrive. One of them happens to be the prince she was about to marry, and one of them happens to be an assassin sent to kill her. Are you serious? This was so much fun. I could not put this book down. I'm obsessed with it. This is also set in the same world as another favorite of mine, The Dance of Thieves, which I did not know, but I think if you can read this before Dance of Thieves, highly recommend. Metal Slinger. Now, this is definitely on the side of romantasy a little bit more, but when I tell you this book is so addictive, plot twists are so much fun. Following Bryn, who is a guard, and is just the most amazing magic system. Like, I was just obsessed with this book. I said the plot is like the main reason I'm obsessed with it. Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. I know some people haven't loved this as much as the One Dark Window duology, but personally, I am obsessed with it. I think I'm just a sucker for divination. Like, study of dreams is fascinating to me. To me,
this was the perfect balance of fantasy, romance, action, and like kind of high stakes in a way. Jazz at Air, speaking of being a sucker for tropes, as soon as mythology influences the magic system, I will be reading it. This is inspired by Egyptian mythology. Also have a game like tournament element in this. This is just so underhyped in my opinion. I absolutely ate this book up. In the perfect balance of fantasy and romance. Such a good slow burn. That is not always the case in Enemies to Lovers anymore. Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. This is definitely on the more cozy side of things, but for a cozy fantasy, it was so much fun. Sometimes cozy fantasies don't hook me as much, and I'm not as kind of addicted to them and just wanting to finish them as soon as I can because I can't stop thinking about them. This was the exception to that rule. Following Jack, who goes back to the island that he was born on that is full of like magical spirits and everything. When he gets there, he learns that young girls have been going missing and he kind of tries to solve this mystery. I just love the characters in this so much.
It undermines the romance genre as a whole. If you're like, oh, it's just a romance. It's not just romance. Love is one of the things that we think about our entire lives. I remember in Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney, she mentions, you know, it's not superficial or trivial to be writing about romance and love and connection and communication and sex, because those are the things that we spend our entire lives thinking about. Like on your deathbed, you will be thinking about the people that you love. And so why shouldn't we make art about it? And why shouldn't we give our criticism of art that dignity to think about it as an important form, an important medium of self-expression? So I can never really get on board when people say like, it's just a romance. It's not just a romance, it's a romance.